Hello, hi, welcome, and thank you for being here. I'm Violet. I appreciate you joining me. Let's dive in. Get a little clarity. We're going to start with the tea leaf today and see what messages would be the most helpful. This reading is timeless. Whenever it finds you, it's perfect. See what feels like it resonates, and always follow and trust that divine guidance in you, your higher self, to God, Source, the universe. The answer is in you, and try to make balanced decisions that are based in love so we can all help uplift each other in love. Let's start with half of the tea leaf and get you some opening messages. Let's see what God, Source, Holy Spirit, Christ consciousness, our higher selves, angels, and energies of love have for the highest, greatest good of all. You got a horse. So there's going to be a journey. It's not going to take you very long if it has to do with time, or it's not very far if it has to do with distance. A horse. I feel like we need to clarify that right away. Let's do that. Clarify why the horse is here. Tell us more about this short journey. Maybe some of you do connect to horses, or it's about your horsepower. No longer being in the stall or stalling yourself. It's time to walk out the door, hit the gas. Tell us about this short journey, please. Oh, you are going on a journey. You are either going back to something, feeling like you are a different person, because this is literally like going on a journey on your own. It's the Eight of Cups. It could also be that you are leaving something that wasn't really building anymore. So it's something that maybe you put a lot of time, love, attention into, but then it just kind of stopped growing, or you grew out of someone or something. So this is an important journey. This is a journey of self-discovery. And even if you end up boomeranging back to a familiar place because of this journey, it looks like you're going to learn a lot about yourself, and it's not going to take that much time. It's not going to be as hard as you thought, because even if you circle back to someone or something, you change in this journey. So let's kind of bounce back and forth. Let's go back to the tea leaf. I'm going to kind of split this. Tell us more about, and if that is not you going on a journey, that's what somebody else is currently going through. They're figuring out who they want to become when they grow up again. Or they're learning more about themselves from a little bit of alone time, or going to down a new road. Because it is where there's something that is a bit unfamiliar to start to, I'm getting like to wear in your shoes, or for something to start to feel more like a fit or more comfortable. So what's another message from, wow, that was so quick too. Well, at least on this journey, you got some good cowboy boots. Maybe some of you do connect to horses, and then you have a mountain. So I usually see a mountain as an obstacle. It's not something that you can't get over, but it does take a lot of effort. A major challenge to overcome. I don't know why I just thought of a quote. It's interesting because you have all the horsepower here. I feel like it connects to like a car company, like either Honda or Hyundai. And I might be getting the quote a little bit off, but it's 99% of success is failure. I mean, think about it. It's when you fail that you learn. It's when you, it's when you fall down that you discover how to get up. It's how you learn, the right direction towards success. The success is often what is discovered out of something not working right. Not everything always just clicking into place perfectly. So a major challenge to overcome, but it's also telling you to increase your effort if you want to achieve your goals. So you gotta put on your boots. You gotta start trekking up that mountain. Something happens maybe step by step. I just watched this weird video and I just thought of this guy. I don't know, he was from like Scotland or something. He was instructing the proper way to walk up a mountain or to walk uphill. And it's where you have to have your head aligned over your heel instead of like putting your foot, because your butt muscles and your thigh muscles are the biggest muscles in your body. So they're the least likely to get tired first. So you're supposed to use the big butt muscles to get up a mountain. So I can find that video and put it below. But it was interesting. And if there's something that's really steep, he was saying the best way to go up that steep part is to do a little zigzag. Actually go diagonal. It might take a little longer, but it's not going to tire you out as much. So that was really interesting. All right, let me put the last two together. And because I kind of feel like these all go together. And let's see if we get anything else. I forgot I watched that video. I watch the weirdest stuff sometimes. So you have a pail. So, I mean, here you're dumping the bucket out. So, time to get out of a situation, especially if your heart isn't in it any longer. Or, you know, something's not growing, or there are constant obstacles in front of you. You've outgrown your boots. I actually feel like there was like a hole in the bucket. Like no matter how many times you fill that bucket up, you fill that chalice up, it's like, why does it keep leaking out? I feel like it's, I know this is weird, but I don't even think it's about like plugging up the bucket. I think that you need a new pail. I don't know why I heard nothing compares, or there's no comparison. I just see somebody keep trying to plug up that pail with like duct tape, and even if the duct tape is there, there was something that kept leaking out. So let's see. Time to get out of a situation. If there's a situation that you want to take a journey away from, I don't think this is a surprise to you. I feel like you've thought about that journey for a long time, and sometimes the hardest step is the first one. So maybe you're dealing with an older man or gentleman, masculine figure. These are always so general. So there's a dealings or situations with an older man. I mean, that could be somebody that's 3 months older than you or 30 years older than you. Let's get one more from the tea leaf. We've got a kangaroo. So maybe you're hopping into action. It says that there is something that's kind of wobbling here. There's unsettled times and you need to plan ahead. I feel like somebody was a little bit too like too wrapped up in the plans and not enough action. Sometimes, alright, I'm seeing headlights. So you can plan ahead, right? You know where you're going. You have the map. You know you're driving to a certain town or, you know, a certain place. But when those headlights are on, you can only see what 50 feet ahead of you, 100 feet ahead of you. So what if there's construction on the road? You plan to get there, you know, in an hour and 17 minutes. But now you got to take a detour. So trust yourself that if there's a detour, if when you get to that point where you can see in front of you, you have to adjust something, then plan ahead accordingly. Allow your plans to be revised if need be. So, especially if you're over here, which means you're discovering something new about yourself, or you're in uncharted waters, or new territory. So let's go to the tarot again, and let's see what's a little bit ahead of those headlights. What's a little bit ahead that would be helpful to know about? Please and thank you. A little bit ahead is maybe saving for a rainy day, or a little bit ahead of you, something that you are really grasping onto in your everyday environment, you need to let go of to create the space for something to have continuous growth, rather than just getting your foundation down, but there's no huge results. Sometimes this is really holding on to something too tight, or someone too tight. And although it has stability, it also can be a bit of a miser. It can also be somebody who's an overspender. Let's just say, I don't know why I see somebody going on vacation and bringing all of the wrong gear or clothing for the climate. So let's just say, you brought all your bikinis or your banana hammocks because you thought this place would be really hot, but you get there and I don't know, it's chilly at night, but all you have is a suitcase of bathing suits. So I feel like there's something about maybe layers. Maybe you're uncovering the layers, but I feel like it's kind of like that figuring it out when you get there. Maybe you bring a couple basics, cover all the bases. I don't know why I just saw that as a baseball game. Maybe it's hitting a home run, maybe it's stepping up to bat. But I feel like when you get there, you're going to need to adjust something than what you planned before. Maybe some of you are going on vacation or something like that, because I do see like a carry-on. So, and now I heard carry on. Let's carry on. What is one more to clarify the Four of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups? One more, please. That would be somebody who knows how to reach the finish line and then reassess the plans accordingly. The Cavalier de Denier, if I said that right. It's the Knight of Pentacles. I really like the Knight of Pentacles, but often the Knight of Pentacles, you do have a horse here, is somebody who takes a jolly old sweet time. They're not usually the fastest. That knight, might see a beautiful field and be like, oh, my horse would like to eat some grass. And I think, oh my God, take a nap. He or she adjusts their pace, their energy accordingly, depending on the weather, the landscape, the energy. This is somebody who's pretty sensual, because when you look at like earth signs, they're all about the senses: taste, smell, touch, sound. So this is somebody who is tapping into all of those sensations to, I'm getting kind of navigate differently. This is also somebody that works a lot, usually behind closed doors. Somebody might see, the destination or the goal or the success, but they don't see how hard it was to break in those boots or get over that mountain or through that obstacle, jump that hurdle. So sometimes they don't get all of the respect they deserve because somebody just sees that final result and not all the practice that went into something. Now, if this person is upside down, this is someone that could be latching onto material things a little too much. It could also be someone who can be a little bit lazy, a couch potato. They have all the potential in the world to really work on their dreams or put the energy or effort into maybe a new self-discovery over here. But they can get complacent if they don't, use that energy to actually build something that calls to them. So let's continue, but I want to go to something different. Let's go really big and just get this is the mystery deck. I kind of just put it in here, try to get it a little organized. Well, I'm just going to pull something from the middle and get some bonus messages. Give it another try with new eyes. Give it another try with, seeing it in a new facet. So something's not going to work the old way that you saw something. You have to, I hear aha. There it is. And I actually in my mind see the hangman, which makes me think of a huge epiphany. Once you really see something different, you don't unsee it, but you have to turn yourself around and gain your footing and continue on. Especially if you were hanging on to maybe the wrong thing over here. You can't hang on forever. So give it another try, but with new eyes. So let's get one more. One more. And trust your gut. Trust your gut along that journey. Trust your gut when you're going up that mountain and, you feel like you might not make it to the top today. Maybe you have to camp halfway up. Trust your gut on something being right, and if it ties you in knots and does not feel energetically right. I hear step up to bat again. I do feel like you have to step up to bat. Don't sit on the sidelines. Don't sit on the bench. I even feel like some of you are in the stands watching this game go on, and I feel like you're like actually jumping over the side and like joining a team. Like making your own, what is that? Like making your own tryout. You're like, oh yeah? You didn't get my letter? I guess I just have to come here and get up on stage and you're just going to have to see me for yourself. That was interesting. I feel like you're doing something kind of ballsy. So let's apparently go to a different, I didn't even know I grabbed this. This is the modern love. So let's get a little modern love and dive a little deeper, get a little more clarity. What else would be helpful to know? I want to know, I hear the pace, but I want to ask about what you have to trust your gut on. Also, if you have this unsettling times, it probably means that something is changing or there's something new you're experiencing and getting used to it. So maybe you don't get used to something right away. If it's unsettled, maybe it's even where like, I don't know why I definitely see a baseball game and I don't know why. I see like the dust coming up. I feel like the dust will fall, something will clear, but now I see headlights again. I keep circling back around. Now let's just say you are driving down the road and it's really foggy. You don't want to have your high beams on. It actually makes the fog worse. So you have to put the low beams on and pay closer attention to the road that it's directly in front of you. Maybe go a little slower as well. So let's ask about trusting your gut. You have to trust your gut because, there's something that you're not supposed to be around anymore. This looks like the blame game. I don't like the Five of Swords at all. Especially here. Look at these two people like in an argument together. Like they both want to be right. The kids are like, just trying to hide from that situation. I even feel like if there's a situation, let's just say there are children, or that could be co-workers, whatever it is. I feel like there are people there that are like, man, you're funky energy is just like, what is that, like the one piece of rotten fruit that kind of spoils the bunch. So I feel like even if there was an argument that happened, let's just say it happened behind closed doors. You don't want to fight in front of the kids. Do you think that you go back in the room and they can't still feel that funky energy or hear it through the walls? So I'm not necessarily getting this has to be children. I see people at work. But it's mental manipulation. You know, the Five of Swords is where somebody tries to push an agenda, or always get the last word, or always want to be the one right. Or let's just say I am getting, even if, let's just say there was something that was resolved through past arguments, and let's just say somebody did really try to go on a journey to make the effort to do better. No one's ever going to be perfect, but let's just say somebody is improving on that thing that was the initial argument. And then one person just always brings it back up. It's like, that's supposed to be something you're working on, not you utilize, to drill that point in again. I'm kind of getting that. That's somebody, I don't know. I don't like the mental manipulation thing. Somebody could be gaslighting somebody else as well. But I don't like the pointing fingers. If they're pointing a finger, there's three, depending on what you do with the thumb, pointing back at them. So it's somebody that's not having self-awareness of their own actions in a situation. And I feel really irritated and annoyed by that right now. So I don't know if this is just somebody in particular, or maybe you're reflecting on, that's the situation to get out of, or you're reflecting how maybe you did have past situations like that, and good for you for, even if you had to do it alone and it took, maybe even a long time to tend, that new garden. I feel like it feels a lot like, I feel like an ease about it. Because if you're around something super intense all the time, I feel like that energy is carried on, like lingers, like a muddy aura, sort of what I see. Now, we will say, because the Five of Swords the other way around is totally different. The Five of Swords the other way around is somebody who's mentally stimulating, which is totally different. Maybe they don't have the same opinion, but maybe they keep you questioning something to, continually expand your mind, your awareness, to see something in a different way. As long as these are two people who are both open-minded and willing to grow and both have self-awareness of their own actions. Because mental stimulation is maze balls. It's always questioning. So, let's see. Why is the Five of Swords coming out? I mean, you do have something you're leaving behind. I wouldn't want to stay in that energy very long. So, let's clarify. Five of Swords. Ooh. Alright. Well, somebody is taking off the blinders. Somebody's definitely maybe switching up their pace. Maybe somebody was taking a long time. I'm just getting this holding on to something too tight that wasn't working over here. So maybe somebody was taking a long time procrastinating an ending, or over projecting on a new beginning. This is somebody, look at this girl, look at her outfit. She's holding that sword, I feel like I can hear that horse, like, and this is somebody maybe taking a pause, but ready to really jump in. If there's a hurdle in front of you, it looks like that horse is going to get over that hurdle pretty easily. The Knight of Swords. So now you have two knights. One that's a little slow, and now this one is pretty fast. But this is also somebody that thinks fast. They're able to maneuver their mind on a dime if circumstances stall them or change something, even if they have a plan. Because this is somebody that could have blinders on, you know, they could only want to see something one way, but once they remove the blinders and see the bigger perspective, that can really change which direction they're going to go. Now, if somebody is constantly distracted over here, because I'm thinking of horses in a parade, and sometimes it's good to have those blinders, because if they're distracted by the crazy people on the street, you know, then they are not looking at the right way to go, and could possibly be distracted by the wrong thing. So trust your gut. When is it right to have super focus, and when is that super focus taking away from the panorama view? So Knight of Swords, air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. Let's ask about the Knight. I just see somebody moving from sitting on the couch, because I keep seeing that couch potato now, to like knowing they have to go. Knowing they have to do something different to get different results, especially when you have the sun. This is clarity. This is happiness. You got, what is this? Cockatoos in the sky. How cool would that be to go outside and see some cockatoos? They're funny little birds. They're really loud. So you have the sun. It's solar. I don't know why I just heard solstice. Maybe the solstice, or I don't know. Now I see sun flares. But when I think of sun flares, I think of a big zap of spiritual download. I don't know why I actually see a DNA strand. That was kind of interesting. Maybe you're getting a spiritual upgrade on your DNA. This is somebody being in their authentic truth, recognizing that it is about continually growing, and compassion for their inner child. What's at the bottom? Oh, the Lovers. Hey. All right, so making a choice about making a choice that involves your heart, making a choice that considers the other, that is not constricting or smothering, but if that, like there's a snake here, if that snake doesn't shed its skin, then I think it suffocates. Like, and let's say that skin is now on the ground, the snake, or your old pants, your old boots, your old partnership, the old you don't want to crawl back into something you have outgrown. It's no longer a fit. So it's moving with those changes, making choices that lighten you, make you feel empowered. It's also playful energy. I'm getting with this, it's also I don't know why I hear somebody like trying to make excuses for somebody that they love, not for someone, but almost like to defend why they love someone. Who knows why you fall in love with a certain person? Maybe it makes no logical sense. It just feels right. But if the Lovers is here and it is the other way around, it is somebody constricting somebody else's growth. If, let's just say, there is a breakup or something is in constant battleground over here, then that could be somebody that is manipulating the other person to stay. I don't know why I'm getting somebody making them feel bad for wanting to leave or for outgrowing someone or something. I mean, if somebody is trying to make somebody else stay, do you really want them to stay if they don't want to be there? That's not really, that's now like some weird, twisted, unrequited love instead of unconditional. And if you really love the other person, you love them, whether they free willfully choose to be with you or want to go. But with the sun and the lovers, this looks beautiful. I feel like that's on the horizon. It's just over the bush, just over the fence. You're elevated. An elevated partnership. An elevated connection. And it's interesting, these are two feminine energies here. So I feel like this decision involving the heart, involving another person, has something to do with both people being able to or ready to actually receive love. I know that's kind of a twist on the normal meaning, but it could also be looking at if there are two energies that are in the same, masculine, masculine, feminine, feminine. I'm not getting male and female. I'm getting just energies. Like if both people are doing the pursuer. And it's like, I don't know, I feel like it's not a back and forth flow. I feel like there has to be trusting the gut, trust your intuition on when to hold back and say thank you and receive, and when to, be a little aggressive and dive on in and make something happen. And also, I don't know why I want to say don't judge a book by its cover. You might be beautifully surprised. There's a lot of cards here. So let's go to something, since you have the lovers, let's go to something kind of love-based. But I also kind of want to get you something raw. So let's get one raw and one a little softer. So let's do this one. Let's go raw. If there is something that is, not so good for you currently, or if that's a red flag to be aware of in the future, let's get you one message. What is one message that would be helpful? That was so quick. Girl or guy, even your tarot deck is tired of him. What does she have? Hold on, she's actually holding tarot cards. I'm going to see what they are. What are they? It just says tarot. It doesn't really say anything. You've pulled the same card 42 times. That's very specific. The cards are begging you to let this one go. Oh, he's not the one, or she's not the one. He's the example. Shuffle your standards, not your deck. Oh, all right. So maybe some of you really want the cards to say something that could be in your ego mind, or something you do truly desire. It doesn't mean that it's wrong, but it doesn't mean that they're right. Hope that made sense. So if you keep trying to shuffle the decks, trying to manipulate, because maybe that manipulation energy is your mental manipulation on a situation because you want it to be a certain way. But with the sun, it looks like there might be something that is so much brighter, so much better, so much easier, even when it's hard. That's interesting. Sometimes I get decks of cards and I won't look through them so that I am surprised when they come through. So let's go a little more gentle. What do I have? I have this out. This is the romance and love. It's a little more sweet, but there's still some raw messages in here. So let's see what would be helpful to know. Clarify. Love, romance, please. Please and thank you. You have divine timing and abundance. So the only thing that's, truthful about divine timing is you only have right now. That's the time you have. So what are you doing with your time right now? Trust the divine timing, and love arrives when it's meant to. If you got someone over here that's not right and you keep holding on to somebody you should let go of, maybe you have to give somebody the boot. Because if you're holding on to something, you have no room to be receptive to maybe something beautiful coming in, and maybe it is not what you expect. Maybe there has to be some time in the process. Now, if this is not you, maybe this is what somebody else is going through, where they do go on a journey of self-discovery. Because it's you opening your heart to receive the abundant love the universe has to offer. There are many different ways to experience love. It's not all about Sassy Town. Even though Sassy Town is beautiful, you can experience the love of your bestie, co-workers, children, grandchildren, your pets, your cockatoo. So feel blessed today for what you get to put your energy into, that you enjoy, that you love. Can you play today? I've seen a baseball game before. Maybe play an instrument. Maybe you just do something where you're in that moment, so engulfed in it that time falls away. There's also something so magnificent and beneficial about that playing energy. To allow yourself to be childlike. That wide-eyed wonder, that what can you get to discover today? What do you get to do different? I hear enjoyable. What's enjoyable to you? So, also, when you get this clarity here, and you're ready for this growth to happen, I feel like the letting go is so much easier than the holding on to. And I feel like wherever you're going, there's no need to have to hold on to something so tight when you and a friend, you and somebody in Sassy Town, you and whoever both choose to stay because you want to, not because you have to. So let's sum this up with a message from the universe. Final message from the universe. What is the final message? That would be the most impactful. What's the most impactful, profound message at the end of this reading that would be helpful? Please and thank you. Things are going to be turned in your favor. People that were against you, all of a sudden will be for you. Ideas, creativity, promotion, contracts are going to come into your hands. Do you have the room to receive? Are you ready? Are you already in gratitude that it's coming in? And I feel like that trust your gut thing is also an extra message here at the end. Because you all of a sudden have all this success and opportunities and love. Let's just say you have this amazing new person you are falling in love with. And then your ex comes back. Mr. or Mrs. Red Flag. Or, rinse and repeat. And all of a sudden, they're offering all something grand. But that's not right. Don't go back and not give somebody new a chance, because you're going back to like what you're used to. I just heard that song. But it didn't have to cut you off, and the fans collect your records and then change your number. Your love, treat me like a stranger, and that feels so rough. I don't know why that song came through at the end. I think that's the only song that came through. So even if that's like, let's just say a friend, it was kind of, bad energy over there, and all of a sudden you're successful and they want to have a selfie with you. Maybe you can keep somebody, what is that, at arm's length. You can still have a pleasant energy. But there's somebody that you're going to want to embrace way closer than arm's length. So with this, I bid you adieu. I love you so very much. I hope this reading was helpful. I hope these messages resonated somehow. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you for being such a huge, impactful, profound blessing in my life. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye.